I turned this house into this. And in this video, I wanted to give you the entire list of costs for this property. So let's start with the heart of the house, the kitchen. Previously, there was a tired looking and dated kitchen, which was past its best and feeling sorry for itself, along with a large skylight window, which is creating a leak into the kitchen because the kitchen is located under a flat roof extension. So a combination of the old kitchen plus the leaks made for a bit of a dreary setup. I replaced the old kitchen with a new one from DIY Kitchens, which is an online store that I've used for well over 20 of the refurbishments that I have carried out across the Northwest and the South Coast, either for my own properties, my own portfolio, or from clients' properties. In fact, for my own bungalow refurbishment, the kitchen was a Howden's kitchen, which I managed to masterfully negotiate down from £12,000 to £6,500, if I do say so myself. That was a story for another time, but what I've generally found is that DIY kitchens come in cheapest overall. And yes, before you asked, they can be cheaper than even a magnet kitchen using a 73% discount from LNPG. Not always, but they are often cheaper. And with all of that said, you do still have to be very creative. So I will typically purchase the kitchen units from DIY Kitchens and then purchase appliances and worktops from other suppliers, such as Appliances Direct or Currys, etc., in order to get the best price and the best combination of design. In this kitchen, I went for the Concrete Effect Cento range, which is a modern flat unit with bar handles, a built-in oven, extractor fan, a range of cupboards and drawers for storage, and then I left space for a washing machine and fridge freezer. Generally, I don't install white goods in my rental properties. I like to provide potential tenants with the necessary items, oven, hob, etc., and leave space for white goods so they can purchase and settle into my property. Over the years of being an estate agent and a property investor, I've found that furnished properties tend to encourage short-term living, whereas an unfurnished property requires a tenant to either bring their items or purchase new items to come and live in the property, and therefore increases the chances of a longer-term tenancy. And on top of that, in an unfurnished property, there is also less items to replace when or if they go wrong. So less cost or maintenance potentially. So that was the kitchen. Let's talk about the skylight and roof. I had a brand new flat roof installed and decided to remove the skylight window altogether in order to reduce my refurb cost and actually reduce risk of potential leaks or maintenance. And luckily for me, the kitchen was already a very light room with a window, so the loss of the skylight just wasn't overly impactful. So next up is the sitting stroke living room, which unlike some of the properties in this street, had already been knocked through to create an open plan living area. Not a huge amount of changes happened in there, other than removing the old fire surround, removing the old gas fire, boxing in the new gas and electric meters, and blocking off the chimney breast. Typically I'll block off the chimney breast and then I'll add in an air brick, as from experience, air bricks are super helpful with these kind of older style properties. As for the bedrooms, well, they were just updated throughout, but no major changes in there. The overall goal of this house wasn't to do anything too crazy, just create a fresh looking and ideally maintenance-free property for the foreseeable future, within a reasonable refurb budget. The last room that I have not yet shown you is the bathroom. Layout wise, I kept things exactly the same. I had the bathroom partly tiled, replaced the 3-piece suite, so new bath, toilet and sink, new shower screen, new electric shower and a towel radiator. But in addition to this, I had a lot of general works done, as this was literally a full refurb. So I had a new gas central heating system installed with new radiators, a full rewire, a new consumer unit, plus the whole house was plastered, painted and had brand new carpets and vinyl throughout the property. A lot of woodwork was saved as it was actually in reasonable condition, so a lot of the architraves and the skirting were just sanded down, repainted in a dark grey finish. So now you know what happened in the refurb, let's talk about the cost. Right, let's take a look at this refurb and hopefully this will be quick and easy for you to follow along. First things first, the rip out. Take out the kitchen, remove the bathroom, the flooring and the multiple layers of wallpaper. And I got this for only £480, which is actually very cheap. But this is because I'd done multiple jobs with this builder in the run up to starting this one, so he did me a bit of a favour there. Next up is the electrics, because once you've done the rip out, you want to start thinking about the first fix of electrics and plumbing. So electrical works, full rewire, new consumer unit, check it, test it, EICR, that was £2,890. Plumbing, this actually includes the works to plumb the kitchen in, so the pipework to the sink and the washing machine, fit the bathroom suite, so actually supply it and fit it, put in a new heating system, test the system, do the pipework, flush it, obviously all new radiators and the gas safety certificate for that. So I think this is very reasonable at £4,580. Damp works, there really wasn't much of it, but this was a damp-proof course injection treatment to the front window wall, so just underneath that front window in the property, under stairs and where the chimney was as well. And after that, they applied a Seeker render and 2 coats of that with a waterproofing agent in those areas too. Cost of that, only £340. Why was it so cheap? Again, done a lot of work with this builder. He's doing me a favour, but not only that, it was very small amount of areas, and he's not a certified damp specialist. Obviously, if you used a damp specialist, they'd be charging you a considerable amount more because they provide a certificate, they provide a guarantee for those works. Next is plastering, so fixing any holes or issues, doing the plastering, skimming the walls and the ceilings where required. This came in at £2,500. Kitchen supply, this was something I actually bought and arranged. I did this through DIY Kitchens. I think I got the appliances from Appliances Direct and the worktop from maybe B&Q from memory. And this was £1,812. Very cheap kitchen, to be quite frank. Managed to shop around and get an absolute bargain. Obviously the kitchen was quite small as well. There wasn't too much to it, which obviously helps keep those costs down. Fitting the kitchen, that's just a labour job only, £1,200. Bathroom supply, so buying the actual materials for that, £451 for a 3-piece suite. Doing the tiling, the metros in the kitchen, the large grey tiles that you'll see in the bathroom photos, that's purchasing and fitting them for £700. Carpentry, so what we did with a lot of the woodwork was actually tried to save a lot of the skirting, the architraves, and sand those down and paint them. So there was a bit of replacing to do here and there, and there was also an allowance for boxing in the electric and gas meter. That only totaled £336, which was really reasonable in my eyes. Internal painting, so this was something that I stupidly tried to arrange and do myself, was trying to shortcut things, save money. I actually went up there for 2 days over a long weekend, took a friend with me and thought, yeah, I'm going to be able to do a mist coat as well as multiple other coats of paint throughout the house, and I failed miserably. Although I've done lots of work in the past on properties, I just massively underestimated this time-wise. So with my tail in between my legs, I went back to the builder. I said, listen, can you finish the painting and can you paint all the skirting, the architraves, and repaint the staircase, which is quite a large staircase. So £1,800 there. As I said, did that quite sheepishly, and lesson learned. I will never be doing that again in a property. Focus on my strengths and focus on things where I can make more money. External painting, so this is just the front and back window sills at the property and just tidying up anything on the outside to make it look nicer. So it's not a full paint, but mainly like window sills for the house. £550 to do so. Flooring, new carpets and vinyl throughout. I think this is really, really cost effective. And this is literally carpets everywhere and on the staircase, and then vinyl in the kitchen, the back lobby and the bathroom. Only £1,080. And they weren't bad in terms of quality either. New front door, so this is just UPVC front door, tidy it up, £1,200. And moving on to one of the bigger costs in this refurb, which was the kitchen flat roof. So remove the old flat roof, remove the skylight, make good of the kitchen ceiling and replace with a new flat roof, £3,700. Now in hindsight, I feel like I paid too much for this. I was just trying to move with speed. I was trying to make sure the job got done properly. And I think I slightly overpaid in comparison to what I know now and the contacts that I have now. But you live, you learn, and you keep pushing forward. And that is exactly what I've done here. didn't pay anything for rendering on the rear of the property because it didn't need doing in the end, and then skips with 2 permits. And that brings our total to £24,349. So that was the costs, and since this refurb, which was late 2022, prices have increased quite considerably, and I estimate that the same refurb would now cost in the region of £28,000 to £30,000 based off the most recent quotes that I've had for other properties that I'm working on this year, 2024. What do you think I could have changed or done better in that refurb? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in next week's video.